Matters, your inner growth matters to you, then she was willing to make that sacrifice for us. So my journey is completely unique, and the way that I'm responding to it is completely different to how she's responding to it. One sentence: keeping me aside. For me, it was very difficult to keep the ego aside and experience Dhyanlinga, right? The way it does magic for other people, it wasn't just working for me. Devi sadhana was extremely hard again for a logical mind like mine to understand the emotional, and bhakti sadhana never came easily to me, right? Waiting for something to happen, but nothing is really happening. I had to, it got infected, right? This happened, somewhere right before, 2 months before my samyama. So it was a very challenging moment for me to, because it was so small, I neglected it. And that is how, the infection started. And then it just became a very big issue later on. It was very painful. I never found it an urge to meet him. And they had an interview with me. They asked me, what skills do you bring to the table? See, this is what you're trying to do. How would you go about it? Absolutely. So I'm starting working on my own YouTube channel. It's called Quantum of Divinity. And it is a beautiful experience that you should not even think twice whether you can do it, whether you cannot do it. You should just close your eyes and just go for it. Absolutely. All of us in Sadhanapada had one common regret.
Anna, when you have mentioned also you have your fiancé, and how she took it actually, I'm quite curious because for many of us as sadhakas, or we are in the sadhana, it is always that very conducive to have a very friendly or understanding spouse. That really helps us a lot when we become a couple. Like when we are single, it's fine, but when you are in a relationship, it's very important that your spouse or your partner also understands. So how she, took it, or how supportive she was.
That's actually very insightful. You need to have an understanding spouse, right? If you're on this path. And she was extremely supportive, right? If this matters, your inner growth matters to you, then she was willing to make that sacrifice for us. So I really appreciate that, and the gratitude I have for her to go through that big sacrifice is something that I will always cherish, and I always will not take it for granted.
It is really amazing to see Anna, the way how much she is understanding and supportive in your experiments and in your spiritual path. It's really wonderful.
That's very important, Anna, that you have someone who is understanding and supportive. It takes a lot for someone to say, okay, I will wait, and to understand what you want to do. It's just amazing.
Will she be also interested in Sadhanapada Anna, after seeing your transformation and the intensity that you are in?
So definitely, I have told her about it. She was very interested. So she wanted to start with something more manageable than going for something intense.
She has also done the inner engineering program.
Yes, she's done the inner engineering program. When I was in Sadhanapada, she was getting initiated in her local center. So definitely she also is making attempts from her side. But the initial state in which we are is so different, right? So my journey is completely unique, and the way that I'm responding to it is completely different to how she's responding to it, because she's at a completely different stage and state.
We definitely agree, Anna, because we both, even though we both have done inner engineering almost at the same time, as a part of Wave of Bliss, it is called Ananda Alai in Tamil.
2008.
We have done. So I did it just 1 month before, and he has done it in his center,
June or July, right?
Chennai itself, but in another center with the teacher, he has done it. But our journey with Isha is completely, in a way that we are traveling together, but it's so unique. so completely different and so unique. The programs, the way how it happens to each person is so different, and even though very simple to ask, like we are in the same family, same we are going through the program, but it is very different for each person, very unique.
I mean, we can say like this because she did the program in 2008, June, July, and by December she had done Samyama.
Wow.
Which because I went
6 months, that must be a record.
And for me, I did the program in 2008. And can you guess when I did my Samyama?
2010?
No.
After 2 years? 5 years, 2013?
No, 2018.
Oh, okay.
So
10 years.
yeah, it
Okay, the whole decade.
yes, it is that is how it takes you. So even if I'm doing my inner engineering, sometimes you feel that you're just doing Shama, you okay, I'm just doing it. But for that transformation, that force to drive you, that happens when it has to happen, it happens.
So when you say that the guys, like the readiness for taking that the next program, it is not just checkbox. You do this. It is not like that. That it is how ready you are for to take another step.
Completely agreed. Completely agreed. So it'll happen when it happens for her.
Yes. So
So when it happens for her, will you be ready to take that or the sacrifice that which she was readily offering to you? Will you be? I hope that you are in.
Definitely, definitely. Having done it for earlier than her, I will definitely, I every month I'm motivating her in order to make it more seamless for her. And how can I support? How can I make it happen for her? Because once it happens for you, then the first thing you want to do is make it happen for as many people around you, starting from your family members, right?
But that is also Sadhguru says that instead of motivating, inspiring others, the family members is the beautiful way, because you start to living Shambhavi within yourself. People start to see that difference in you, and they just wonder that what's happening, what are you doing? Like I want to know, I want to do the same, so that like I become joyful, as pleasant as you like. So inspiring is the best way, I think.
Yes, very true. That
Yeah.
I had that. Absolutely. I had that experience with my mother. I saw the change in her. That's why I felt like, wow, it really works. Let's explore this. And after seeing the change in me, she's also trying in her own way, Devi Sadhana and, some form of Isha or the other, she's trying to take up Angamardana. We try to volunteer at a program together. So some way or the other, she's trying to, get there.
When you are saying all these aspects, Anna, like Akka is trying, Devi Sadhana, volunteering, Angamadana, it really brings me the thought that as Sadhguru says, like I feel that Isha Foundation is the only place that I know, at least, from my experience, that which really like gives all these four limbs of yoga, karma yoga, which is volunteering you meant, and then Devi Sadhana, which is the devotion part, the bhakti yoga, and then kriya yoga, like what she has done in her engineering, Shambhavi Mahamudra kriya, and then Angamandana, which is like using the body that you will be doing, and then of course Jnana yoga is there, like all that time we are listening to Sadhguru and working upon ourselves. So these all four limbs of yoga, I think in Isha, Sadhguru had really made it so beautiful that blending all these, like some people are, like I am kind of like very kriya, energy and emotional oriented person. But I don't know about you what you are.
no, I think I'm just more Kriya oriented. I'm not yeah. I would say only Kriya oriented, I would say.
What is your second thing after Kriya?
I think bhakti comes for me. So I'm not more of the
Volunteering also like very beautifully we embrace, but the first two topmost, like maybe that which is dominant in you, like you always like yeah. What?
So like Anna, even I'm very, very Kriya was something I found it extremely easy because you can do something to make it happen, right? But it's also that much harder. So Kriya was the easiest. Then the second thing was Karma Yoga. For me, it was volunteering made a huge difference, right? So your practices eventually the intensity does go down, and when it does go down, just going to a volunteering event, just being with other, sadhaks, always, then it again intensifies, and you again get the intensity back up. So Karma Yoga is something that really I experienced in very, 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 very profound ways.
Yeah, so that now, like, whatever, like, we are more leaning towards, or, like, which is more, how to say, no, getting the right word. It is like what is really dominant in us, or which is more driving us. So we can embrace that path more, and we can also like blend that with all the other four limbs, because with that only we will be able to easily, like move in this path, I believe, instead of just only just going by one means. It's like
That's a very good point. Whatever works, whatever works, keep trying. Anything that works, just double down on it.
Quite true.
if you would explain or put it in one word or two words, Anna, like your Sadhanapada experience, what would you name it or put it?
It was very hard.
Maybe in one sentence.
One sentence. Keeping me aside. Everything was to do that. All the effort was ultimately to achieve this one simple thing. Not easy at all. And,
It's the easiest thing in a way. Like it's so difficult, but it's hardly possible.
if we exactly, because you don't know when it will happen, how it will happen. You just have to, but you're patiently waiting for it to happen, and you're not giving up. But all the effort was just to keep yourself aside, and when it does happen, it's the most beautiful thing that I have ever experienced. I think everybody should get a chance to experience that.
So how is uncle taking it now after Sadhanapada? Has he changed his opinion?
So my father is still, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, but he did observe changes in me. He did observe changes in me, and it did shift in very subtle ways. I can see him supporting. Like to give you an example, at 3 in the morning, I had to borrow the car to go to for Devi Sadhana volunteering and getting the initiation hall setup done. So he was always there, right? He was always there. He was saying, "Yes, take the car. Don't take a cab or auto. Or whenever weekend also, I'm going for something." You know, he's trying to support in his own way. He's trying to support.
So beautiful.
That's beautiful, really.
Right.
So what was your experience of being in Dhyanalinga?
One thing is Dhyanalinga, right? Dhyanalinga, everybody around the world comes there, tries to experience Dhyanalinga, right? For me, it was very difficult to keep the ego aside and experience Dhyanalinga, right? The way it does magic for other people, it wasn't just working for me. I tried almost everything, but nothing worked. Almost halfway through the program, even after my samyama, right? Somewhere in February, right? I had the opportunity to, the last batch of Linga Seva was there. So I was like, okay, this is my last chance to go for it. I went for Dhyanalinga Seva. So first day, second day, I just went with the instructions. Third day, it was the most beautiful experience. I was doing Linga Seva inside Dhyanalinga, and that is when I truly experienced Dhyanalinga in a very, very, very divine way. And I'm so grateful for that.
I remember, like, I have also got this beautiful and wonderful possibility to be participating in Linga Seva. It was truly amazing.
So how would you?
Many aspects to it.
Sorry.
Yes,
No,
if you can.
So, how is it in your experience with Devi?
Devi sadhana was extremely hard again for a logical mind like mine to understand the emotional, and bhakti sadhana never came easily to me, right? Waiting for something to happen, but nothing is really happening, right? But eventually during Devi sadhana, during Navratri, right? That is when we had that different forms of Devi and those 9 days of Navratri. That is when I truly experienced Devi in different ways, right? Uh, it was truly magical. It was a different kind of energy, and it was very subtle. It was gentle. It was like a mother kind of energy. And that's when I knew, okay, fine, this is Devi.
I feel so humbled and blessed to hear about your beautiful experience with Devi.
So, if the youngsters, whoever would like to come for the Sadhanapada program, like what would your advice? What would be your advice for them, or any kind of like sharing, specifically if you would like to say something to them?
Right. So Sadhanapada is the ideal way in which you should naturally live your life, right? And it is a beautiful experience that you should not even think twice whether you can do it, whether you cannot do it. You should just close your eyes and just go for it, right? You will be, what it does to your system, the way it can transform your life is cannot even be explained in words. It has to be experienced, and no amount of logic can justify why you should not keep away from it, for why you should not take away 1 year of your life, because it's about realizing a higher possibility in yourself, right? So if you can think about yourself in a completely reinvent yourself in a completely different way and realize that possibility, you will truly flow with life. And for that, it is a no-brainer. Just go for it. Do not even worry about the sacrifices that you have to make for it. Just do it.
It's worth it because it's really preparing you for life. Because I also wanna like really feel that like when I was after my masters in India, I did it in pharmacy, and then I have come outside of India for my PhD. I felt many at times like I was really lacking, kind of like neither I have an understanding about myself, like self awareness. Today we call it as like emotional intelligence, like where they had these four parts, like like self awareness, self management, and then social awareness and social management. I was truly honesty. I must admit that I was truly needed definitely improvement on that. And I would definitely appreciate, the way how Sadhguru had structured this program, Sadhanapada, that really, really enhances one's emotional intelligence. Maybe the term is like a relatively new, and but the whatever I have read from Sadhguru's, Sadhanapada program, and I hear from you and many others, like Sadhanapada alumni and participants. So it's really very beautifully it helps one to become aware of oneself, managing ourselves, because it's so important that like when we are going to work in other place, we are interacting with many different people, many multicultural people. And also like when we have someone, when we bring someone in our life as a partner or spouse, so then it's all the most important that we understand our emotions and we are able to manage that, like to be able to accept another person as such. Without that getting into anything, I wouldn't dare to do that actually. Now I feel that sometimes we both used to discuss like how we would have really got into this, like without even like many things we are not aware of ourselves, how to manage ourselves, we don't know, like, but we, because that's what happening actually blindly, like we are just doing it, study, jobs, marriage, children, bringing other lives very easily. And that's the
Correct.
reason, without having the necessary understanding or realization, we just get into relationship, and that's the outcome that today we see in the world, like in the society, like
Absolutely true.
love.
I agree with you 200% on this. The program has been highly well structured. to facilitate that in you in every which way possible. There is so many support systems in the ashram: the food, the schedule, the environment. There's Devi, there's Dhyanlinga. There's so many tools that are available to you that it will happen in some way. And in terms of what it does to your system, yes, you do become more accepting to everything around me. Sadhanapada has made me much more accepting to everything around me, and almost every Anna or Akka there had the similar experience at different points of time. They also felt, now we can just stay in one place and just accept what is happening and be in complete, harmony with it. Definitely, Akka. And associating keeping aside what you will get, right? I agree with that point as well. What you will get, that doesn't become the priority anymore. And it's really beautiful that thoughts don't bother you anymore.
And I remember you mentioned about like you have seen when you have visited the Isha Yoga Center as a tourist first time as a non-meditator, you have seen that people were going for a Adiyogi Pradakshina. But during the Sadhanapada, I hope that you have also got the opportunity to go through this. How was your experience when you yourself like going through that?
I prepared a lot because Pradakshina was the reason I wanted to do Sadhanapada. So I made it a point to try to do it almost every day. And although no matter what the weather condition was, I would try to do it. So the very first sadhana, the Pradakshina that I did, right? I remember it was very sunny. It was the stones were so hot that when you stand over there in front of Adiyogi, right? I just melted. And I had these tears of ecstasy. It was a very unique feeling that I experienced. It was a very big moment for me that it really did work for me. So over time, what happened was I did get used to walking barefoot, but at the same time, I met with a small stone went inside my foot. Actually, it was a glass piece, and then I cut my foot, and because of that, I neglected it. I didn't, take care of it. So I had to, it got infected. Right, this happened, somewhere right before 2 months before my samyama. So it was a very challenging moment for me to take care of my foot and to come out of that infection, so that I can be ready for the next few stages, so that my samyama I was able to do it. So I had to really be conscious of myself, and it was a really hard moment for me. There was a particular gap in which I could not do pradakshinas, but then thankfully I resumed after come January, Feb.
In the clinic, I hope you received all the medical help.
Yeah, the mistake we did is we didn't take the antibiotic. I didn't take the antibiotics. They were like, "Do you want to take the antibiotic?" I said, "No, I'm fine. It's just we can bandage it." But then the wound opened up again, right? It's a very small wound, but then it became a big issue.
You are using it. You are not resting. You will be
Yeah,
continuing.
I was resting, but again, when you're walking barefoot, you need to disinfect the wound and allow it to close, right? Because it was so small, I neglected it, and that is how the infection started, and then it just became a very big issue later on. It was very painful, but Devi was with me, and somehow it just we were able to go through it. The ashram food and all the support that was there. The clinic, yes, I had a really good Filipino akka who was Anna from he was my doctor, and he really tried to heal me, and I could feel his. I was just receiving, and because of him, I was able to do it. So there were so many opportunities for you to get support in different ways from different people that nothing was a big challenge anymore.
Mhm. Sure. I yes, actually, like they just take care of you like a child, and
You mentioned food
many times.
many times. For us, ashram food is very unique. In your experience, how is it? How is it different from what we get from outside?
Right. So my parents are already into very sattvic lifestyle, so they go out of their way to get foxtail millets and get the best foods that we can. They don't mind spending. So I had the privilege of already experiencing that in my homes, that not many homes they can experience that. right? But ashram, I knew the food was good, but I didn't know it was so good, right?
Yeah, with you.
Yes, absolutely. Even for me, from coming from such a privileged background, I found it really, really conducive. There are so many things that I understood that Sadhguru has told about the way the food should be. I was in Diksha Hall volunteering, right? It's not just the food, it's the way you consume it, the way it is served, everything, every little aspect matters, right? So it was optimized to such a great extent. I mean, I was truly fortunate to have experienced that.
I think my volunteering experience is that whenever I go to the ashram, I somehow do Diksha Hall volunteering, because it was really something that when you're serving to so many people, you have to have that kind of gratitude to serve properly, see that it comes out well for them, and just to be in that group of volunteers to see that they make it happen is just very nice to experience.
Absolutely. They had started something, a 10-day, Bhiksha Hall volunteering program also, right? And it was really well designed. It was really well designed. In addition to the general volunteering that we anyways do,
Okay.
it was just, it does something to you.
Yes.
Anna, I just wanted to ask you one thing. Like, if you would like to tell that there is one thing that really had completely transformed in me because of Sadhanapada program, means that which one would you name it?
Right.
Yes.
Like that.
Which aspect, like, completely
This is also so hard because there are so many things, right? It changes you on a fundamental level. But great question, Akka. So if there is one thing I would say, um, yeah, now I'm not bothered about how things will pan out, right? I'm not bothered about the result. It doesn't affect me anymore. I have a certain sense of detachment with which I do things. I do things for the higher purpose of it, not for what I'm getting out of it. And in a subtle way, it's affecting the people around me as well. Then that's validated by my mother herself. She was saying, I was worried about you, but after Sadhanapada, I'm not worried about you now. I know that you will figure it out in your own way.
I mean, if mother is validating it, it is done.
Yes, yes, yes. That is the biggest validation of all. For me, that was
because as a mother, I can totally relate to that. At least, like, when she's saying this, from what you are saying, from your experiences also.
yes.
Anna, this is like I think all of our viewers also might be very interested in this question that which I am going to ask you. Have you got the opportunity to meet Sadhguru anytime when you are in the Sadhanapada program or when you are volunteering in Sadhguru Sannidhi Bengaluru or you know?
Right. So every time it's a favorite question, and everybody wants to know. Okay, you were in ashram. Did he come? Were you there next to him? Did you get to meet him? So I never had that craving, like because what I understood is the best way that you can meet him is by invoking him and following his instructions. Right.
Absolute.
That's the best. That's the best way to actually connect with him. And he says this also in many ways. So that was 100% true for me. I never found it an urge to meet him. Guru Puja, definitely we were initiated. Many things happened there as well. But for me, experience hunting, meeting him, getting chances like that will come and go, right? But just stick to your practices. Just keep doing, walk the path that he's shown you. That is the best way that you can experience him.
Very much.
So now, after Sadhanapada, you are now into a new project, Sadhguru Wisdom Warriors. So how did this happen? And
That's a great question again. So Samyama opened up huge possibilities for me. And again, it's personal to everybody, right? You get the clarity of where you're going and what you want to do with your life. So immediately after Samyama, I got in touch with eMedia Partnerships. They had a stall there, and I connected with them, and that's how I got into working with Swami Patanga. And that opened up so many possibilities from there that I got to know that they're working on establishing a content creator community to take Sadhguru to the world. Because for most people, the way that they reach out to Sadhguru and even experience him is through YouTube. For almost 99% of us, it's through YouTube, right? So, so how can we amplify that? How can we make it a conscious planet? It's such an ambitious target that we have. So, one thing that we did understand from this entire experience is that, as you said, right, yoga is the solution, IE is the tool, and consciousness is the way, right? And the way to actually effect that is you have to find your way of making this happen for as a possibility for others. And for me, it was Wisdom Warrior community got in touch with Swami Patanga, and they had an interview with me. They asked me, what skills do you bring to the table? See, this is what you're trying to do. How would you go about it? So I put my thoughts there. So then they asked me to set up something like the Sadhguru Wisdom Warrior website, right? So that was a chance.
So the website, have you developed now with your team? Like with some.
Yes, so it was completely developed by me, and I just kept Sadhguru at the back of my mind when I was doing everything, right? And that's when I broke some limitations of mine, right? We had some, I didn't even know that I was capable of these things, but the devotion actually carried me through, right?
So that came out, I just got the opportunity to see the website, and many times when we go through that, it's really very beautiful. Actually, we can see that actually.
We can see that but put in there.
And completely the Isha.
Right, it's been, every little thing has been taken care of, and so many people were giving me feedback on it. And since then, I've been associated with this Wisdom Warrior community, and we are trying to grow this into a bigger thing and open up this possibility for so many others. And one thing just leads to the other, and then you're not in control anymore. It's going the way that's supposed to be going, and the context is driving the entire story narrative, right? We are just doing our parts. We are doing what must be done. Ultimately, we are just playing our little role in that and big thing that Sadhguru he started. And it's phenomenal to see, how it's grown over this last 1 year, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to go into something really big in the coming few years, just like Sadhanapada.
Do you also have your own YouTube channel as a part of Sadhguru Wisdom?
Absolutely. So I'm starting working on my own YouTube channel. It's called Quantum of Divinity, and the concept is
very unique. No, I did not hear at least like many mystic channels. I know like the fan channels, many inner channels like we hear often, but this seems to be very unique.
Thank you. So I was trying to find a very unique name, and my fiance actually helped me come up with this idea. So she came up with that word quantum, right? And the idea is to help people experience divinity the way that I experienced it, and to unlock possibilities, right? Take Sadhguru to the world, basically. So that's the simple goal, but it's a very tough and ambitious goal.
Yeah, so I mean, like what and all topics you would like to cover under this like channel?
So starting from different content buckets, starting with my reviews, my experiences of Kriya Yoga, right? I'm working on that video. I'm as and when whatever video of Sadhguru comes out, right? I process it in my own way, right? And I understand certain perspectives about it. I add the perspectives of other people around it, and what possibilities it opens up for them, and packaging that into a storytelling narrative and high quality videos is what I'm planning to launch, right? That's basically the format in which I'm going to take this.
All the best for you. I mean, do you want to ask?
No. It's a wonderful concept, and all the best for that.
We wish you good luck with this channel, and I hope you will be able to reach millions, like the way how that touched many lives.
So, is there anything that you would like to change, or do you have any regret, or like, I mean,
something could have been done better.
Sadhanapada. Yeah.
Absolutely. All of us in Sadhanapada had one common regret, that why didn't we do this earlier?
Well,
Why do it so late in life? But better late than never, right? So in one way, I think now is when we needed it the most, right? There is no right time for it. The time now is the right time, as he says, right? There's no good time for sadhana or bad time for sadhana.
And it is like now it's in our hands, like how best we are making, applying in our life. I think that's what makes a difference.
True. That was the biggest, fear that we had after Sadhanapada. How are we going to go back to the real world and live this every moment, right? We've been given something gift, which is, we cannot even explain in words what we have been, the gratitude and what we have been offered to us. So, but how are we going to internalize and what a huge responsibility have we been assigned, right? How are we going to live it every single moment? So we are, every day is about taking it one single day at a time and figuring it out from there.
Mhm. What would you do? Would you like to do next, Anna?
Right. So,
Missions?
The idea is to ultimately take Sadhguru to the world, right? In whichever way possible. In my particular case, in my particular unique context, is to harness the power of the internet to do that, right? In various ways, right? We're doing with Wisdom Warrior community, whether we are doing it through, different projects that we are working on. But ultimately, it is adopting the role of technology, right, into your strengths, because that is I'm very tech savvy and that's my strong suite. I want to offer myself completely and focus on this way of taking Sadhguru to the world.
Yes. For me, it is very powerful.
yeah, I think so. But what have you ever thought that you would be doing this a few years ago before Isha?
Never. I would never have imagined the older version of me and the version of me now, right? Uh, None of us in Sadhanapada ever imagined that we'd have is this the same person, right? So definitely there are still some things that we all need to work on, right? It's not a done deal that you go to Sadhanapada, it's done. No, it doesn't work that way, right? It's only the start, not the ending. It's the journey, it's not the destination, right? But the path that has been shown to us, right? The way that it has been shown to us, that has made me surprised myself that I would have never ever done some of the things that I am doing right now. And all that is the grace of Sadhguru. All these possibilities are the grace of Sadhguru, which is why we all feel that I now feel more than anything that it is not just he's not just an embodiment of a guru. He's as unique as a phenomenon like the Big Bang itself.
So now actually we were reading somewhere that they're going to offer Sadhanapada in Sadhguru Sannadhi as well.
In Bengaluru.
So it,
Pretty great news, Anna.
Yeah, that's a wonderful initiative. So recently we went to Angamadana volunteering and we saw that how they have changed the environment, how the volunteers have come together and they are trying to make it conducive for sadhana, a place where there is absolutely nothing, right? And they're competing with an ashram which is 30-year-old ashram, and everything is brand new. So there are challenges, but the way they have really changed from 1 year back what it was, the dedication with which the people around the more than the infrastructure, it's the people that make the ashram, right? The sangha. So that I can really see there has been some tremendous progress there.
yeah, that's wonderful to hear.
Can't you? From version 1.0 to 2.0, like, do you think now even some small bugs are also coming? Because whenever we think from 1 to 2.0, like it has never been completely done, and it's once done means is it also having some kind of debugging you have to do often to get it upgraded, updated to stay up to or on the way to 3.0.
Yes, every day you have to work on yourself, right? Every day is a new journey, new battle, and every day you have to be conscious and make sure that you are We have the tools. Sadhguru is just throwing tools at us. It is up to us to make the best use of it. Not one day should pass without us not being able to use that tool for our inner growth. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Definitely.
That's wonderful.
It's continuously improving upon and working upon ourselves.
And there's always a scope. Yes, there's always a scope.
Yes. A lot of scope.
Right.
Any reflections and like you would like to share with the viewers or anything if you would like to share? It's open.
It's an open-ended question.
Yes.
I was so eager to get back to my business during Sadhanapada, right? I was like, what am I doing here? There was not a day that went by where I had my logical mind trying to, pull me back to its own nonsense. but I stuck with it, and that has made a lot of difference.
So would you want to do your business again, or would you want to do something else?
Definitely, I would like to do the business, but not in the way that I was thinking about it before the program.
Yeah. Very conscious.
So, yes, everything has become so much more conscious, and it has completely, I'm looking at it in a way that I would have never looked at it. So I'm really glad that it's going this way.
Oh, thank you so much. Really, it's so wonderful to have you with us today, and we're sharing very, very invaluable and very beautiful,
Insightful.
insightful your experience and sharings.
I just want to say
But
that you guys,
there's time actually.
no, not at all. I just want to say that you both are doing a phenomenal job, and you're taking that level of Isha. I can see it alive within both of you when you're doing this. This is also a tool that you are offering to the world. This is nothing short of miraculous what you have done here. I definitely felt something throughout this entire session, and I'm sure you're going to make this happen for a lot many other people. As much as I enjoyed it, I hope other people also enjoy this. Thank you so much for offering this, Akka, and thank you so much for offering this, Anna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
What you just have heard is not just another conversation, but this is rare glimpses of the deep transformative journey of those who have immersed themselves in the Sadhanapada program. These are not stories that you will find it in any books or in any other social media posts. These are raw, personal, and very profound experiences straight from the hearts of those who have walked this path. If this conversation has touched even a small part of you, please like and leave us your comments. And please share it with someone who might be searching for something beyond the ordinary. If you would like to continue exploring the depths of transformation, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. This series is not just about listening, but opening new possibilities for yourself. Thank you for being part of this journey. See you in another episode of In Conversation with the Ishas, where real seekers open up like never before, with another meditator with a very insightful story. Till then, take care. Bye. Namaskaram.